Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Not
Oh,
Frankie.
I just got a thing. This Hangout on Air is live. Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. Well,
Um.
uh,
Hmm. Huh. We might
I'll
have to
have
go to
to.
Facebook.
Well, it almost looks like maybe it's gonna have the same functionality.
Hmm.
It's just like kind of stripped down, except that it. I don't know. I'll have to play with it because it's looking for a webcam, and I don't have a webcam hooked up to this. So, but I mean, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, let's start.
In the last installment of Incredible Critics,
You'll notice that one voice is interestingly absent, despite his common assurance that he is going to show us how easy it is to have a child.
he argued
Franklin.
that it would be after the baby was born that there wouldn't be any issue.
Yep, he'll be out for the next 2 weeks because he's in baby classes where they will, where he will not pass the test at the end and will not be able to be the father to his child.
He'll not be allowed to.
Not be allowed. Yep. Yep. Not allowed.
Not be certified. Look, if you're not certified a dad by the end of that class, sorry,
you can't have a child.
Tough luck.
Yeah. He'll never admit it on the podcast, but we know that he'll be wrong. He'll never admit it. I'm confident of that, but we'll know. We'll know. We are the Incredible Critics. Incredible, not because we're great, but because our credibility should seriously be in question. I am Ben Franco. Is it me or is that YouTube compressor killing me?
Yeah. On my end, it just sounds like the music is going up and down.
Yeah.
And up and down.
Yeah, they changed something about that compressor because it never used to do that. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. That beautiful voice you're hearing is none other than Tim Lasers Gruber.
Oh, Ben.
And Tuna couldn't be bothered with the show.
Nope.
I mean, that's fair. It's fair. It's not like anybody's listening. Oh, yep. See, the compressor is so bad I forgot to stop the music.
And we didn't even know.
We didn't even notice. And Frankie is again absent. So a quick scorecard from last week. Fortunately, the test is pass fail, and he got a 70. So, you know, he's on the verge.
Test
he's on the
one.
verge. Yep, right.
So
the first part.
2-part.
Yep. So, you know, currently, but he doesn't have much room. He's got to get at least a 60 on the next one.
We're gonna send our good vibes to Frankie tonight.
Sending our good vibes out to Frankie.
Vibes to Frankie
at his parenting classes. So it's just me and Tim.
Yeah.
Just me and Tim.
Classic.
Yeah, the VIP team.
VIP.
How's it going, Tim?
It's going good. It's going good. Just another week in living.
You make it sound so thrilling.
Nailed it.
So thrilling. Did you have a good Father's Day?
Yeah, I did. The girls at school before the end of the school year made me these they cut out these giant ties and they wrote things about their dad on them. So it was like,
nice.
My dad is
nerdy.
Like my dad is 17 or 61 years old. I don't know. Yeah, my dad likes pizza as his favorite food. And what else? My dad makes me laugh.
Nice.
Okay. They were cute. They were cute. And you know,
your kids are going to be listening to this in like 10 years and be like, Dad, what the heck?
They'll be like,
why were you so down on our gifts?
They'll be like, why am I even listening to this?
That movie came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't. My Father's Day gift is on hold, so I will. I will let everybody know when I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, the girls did a little
Is it
show.
a fourth child?
It's not. It's not. It's not.
But you wouldn't admit to it if it
It's
were.
not. I would not. But it also is not. So, no. No, I was gonna say the girls did do a show for us. They put
Ooh.
on a stage show,
Was it the
and
Game of Thrones season finale?
it was very bloody, very bloody. I was shocked
But how
that
realistic they got
about about what the fate of all the characters.
it?
No, no. When they do shows for us, it's usually a variety show, which means it's like one long song that you think is over, and then it's not, and then it was actually twice as short as I thought it would be, if I'm being honest. I thought it would go longer. I was like, "Is that it?" "Oh, no, 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 there's an after credits." I was like, "Well, what do you mean there's an after credits?" And then Adeline started doing the after credits from Wreck-It Ralph for some reason.
Okay.
He started acting it out.
Oh.
Ralph is feeding, "Oh, no, you get a milkshake, and you eat a waffle, or pancake, or I don't know, whatever." And then it turned into another song. So it was good though. It was good.
Nice.
How about you? Did you do anything crazy?
Nothing crazy. No, I got breakfast in bed, and my daughter's now old enough that she burst open the door and yelled, "Happy Father's Day, Daddy!" and like ran up and gave me a hug, and I'm like, yes,
Nailed it.
made it.
Cha-ching.
Then just hung out with family, went to church, hung out with family, and yeah, nothing crazy. You know what? I hope, Aaron, if you're listening, I really hope that you went all out for Frankie.
Yeah, because of his
since he did nothing for Mother's Day.
significant lack of Mother's Day.
Like if I were you, I would have gone all out. That way you could hold it over his head for the rest of his life, because that's what marriage is all about.
Yeah, I mean that's when it comes down to it. Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching and what's on. Tim, there was a big Netflix release this week.
There was.
You had a chance to check it out. People are loving it. Murder mystery.
Yes, it was really funny. Sorry, I keep trying to fix my light. And now this is my light for the night. This is my light for this episode. Spooky like murder mystery. It was not spooky at all.
Starring Adam Sandler and
yes.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes. So I, for some reason, saw that a trailer for it this week, and I texted it to Brittany, and I was like, "This looks kind of dumb and kind of hilarious," and she said, "I know, I can't wait till it comes out. I guess we'll have to Redbox it someday." And blah blah blah. And I was like, "Brittany, it comes out on Netflix."
Like right now.
She's like, "What?" And I was like, "On Friday." She's like, "What?" So yeah, we watched it. It's actually pretty funny. It's probably the only what I told you guys was it's probably the only Adam Sandler movie that I would recommend to anybody to watch. Cause Adam Sandler. And there's still some typical Adam Sandler stuff. I know, I just realized that.
We couldn't see you at all, Brittany.
Just a cameo. Good
Nailed
thing.
it.
Nailed it. Anyways,
I like how she ducked down so that only all of her could be in the frame.
So that only her whole face was all
entire body.
Because yep. Anyways, yeah, so it's really funny. So the idea is that this couple, they've been married for 15 years. They never went on a honeymoon because they were too busy. He's a cop, she's a hairdresser, and living the typical life of Rachel and Ross from Friends. Except it's Adam Sandler with a mustache. And he is lying to her about becoming a detective because he failed his detective exam for the third time, but he's actually got some detective skills. And so then he gets tricked basically into they decide to finally take their honeymoon for their anniversary to Europe. And unbeknownst to them, they meet a billionaire playboy on the airplane who invites them onto the family yacht for the week. So instead of touring Europe on some lame tour bus with a bunch of, really lame American tourists and their children, they decide to go on the yacht, and murder ensues. There's been a murder, I do declare. And so then it's like this. It's a murder. It's called Murder Mystery. It's the dumbest name. It's in the trailers, all this stuff, but they basically try to pin it on the Americans who just showed up on the boat that nobody really knows, and it's obviously not them. And they literally through the movie are like pointing out tropes of murder mysteries.
Oh my gosh.
In books and in movies, like on purpose.
Yeah.
But it works. It works though.
Does it? Because it kind of doesn't sound like it does.
Yeah, it works. It's funny because at the beginning of the movie, he's making fun of her for reading a murder mystery novel. And he's like, I hate to spoil it for you. And she's like, it's this whole thing of like, I like these books and just because you're a detective and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, it's funny. And I think it works better because of Rachel from Friends. Because Jennifer Aniston is like, I think she has decent acting when she wants to.
Oh, she can act for sure.
And if he had any other person, I don't think that would have worked because he's Adam Sandler and all of his things are like real dumb jokes.
But like, when did that happen? Because like mid-90s, he was gold.
He was, but that's because everybody was into that. They were into the really dumb jokes. Like Dumb and Dumber,
Well, yeah, I guess that's fair.
That's what everybody was into then. But it's his comedy has stayed pretty much the same since.
Right. Then. Yeah, no, it definitely hasn't adapted.
Comedy has aged. I don't know. Anyways, it was pretty funny. And
it sounds like it's worth watching because it was on. Yep. It's on the Netflix subscription that you either pay for or borrow.
And it's a PG-13. So there's funny stuff without it being overly ridiculous. So Britt and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think Frankie said he watched it, so we'll have to get his take. If he ever passes his parenting exam.
Yep, he may have to take it again, so he may be out next week too.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Well, we also want to talk about some movie news.
This just in.
This week, I think it was just today.
Today,
it was announced that there's going to be a Hunger Games prequel.
Yes.
Kind of huge news.
Yeah. So they announced the book release date, I believe.
Did they?
Yes, but they also announced Lionsgate is already trying to make it a movie. Like, I'm pretty sure they already bought the rights to.
Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they?
To produce it, yeah. So I think the book is coming out next year.
2020.
It's basically set during the year of the 10th Hunger Game.
Right.
So I'm a Hunger Games whiz when it comes to knowing what the Hunger Games, what numbers they are. And the Hunger Game in the movie Hunger Games is the
73rd. No, 74th.
4th.
74th.
5th.
No, because no, it's in the first movie. In the first movie, it's the 74th.
Yeah.
Because then in the second movie, it's the 75th, which is the third quarter quell.
The quarter quell.
I know my Hunger Games, bro.
I was counting as well. Brittany's just staring at me like, I know the answer, and you sound dumb. Yeah, well, you just keep sneaking around over there. Yeah. So yeah, so this is set 60 something years beforehand, maybe during the 10th. I mean, I guess if you're gonna pick a time period, that's probably a good one.
Yeah, so some things that I was reading was that none of the characters from the Hunger Games would have been alive
Right.
at that time,
Like not even
except Snow.
Yes, President Snow is probably the only, because he
So
was old.
right, so there you'll probably run into him in the book. So the book comes out May 19th, 2020.
Yes.
You got to think they have early manuscripts of the book
Oh yeah.
and are already working on a script.
I'm sure the book is basically done. It
Oh,
just
right,
has to go. Like, what people don't know a lot about the book process is, like, man, edits, upon edits upon edits.
right.
It is like a crazy process. Like, you get the book done. So I'm guessing they announced the date because it's probably the first draft, like almost exactly how it's gonna be, is
Right.
done.
But like Lionsgate could have already they could have already had this in pre-production
Right.
for a while and
That's
just not
true.
been able to announce it.
That's true.
They
Could be casting in secret.
they could they legit could be casting and
Yeah.
already have it like most of the way through pre-production and like go into production this fall and have it release date by the end of next year, which I think would be kind of smart.
Yeah. And they could if they timed it right, that could be really good. And they honestly, because of the time period, it does set them up to be able to do multiples. So I'm interested in this because Hunger Games only has 3, right? And because we know the basics of the history of Panem, but but like all the little details, all the stuff from way, it's pretty far back for Hunger Games history.
Right.
So it's probably a good time to set it.
My main problem with prequels, just in general, is that where it's gonna end.
Right. A Hunger Game means that everybody dies.
Yeah. So if it involves the Hunger Games at all, people are gonna die.
Yeah.
That by the end of it, it's not like they're going to overcome the big bad guys.
Right.
Because it's gonna go on for at least another 65 years, or whatever it is, 64 years. I had the same issue with the I mean, there are many issues with the Star Wars prequels, but my main thing was just I know, spoilers, that Anakin's going to become Darth Vader.
Right.
I know this is going to happen. Why am I wasting 3 hours watching it get there?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Overall, I mean, that's not to say that there aren't good prequels, but most of the time,
right. And prequels, yeah. So what you're saying, the biggest thing is they basically are written into a box when you do a prequel, of any kind.
Now this one, you kind of pointed it out, is much more open-ended for what you can do with it, because maybe it doesn't evolve or revolve around the actual games. Maybe it's just around the politics and everything around that time. But but even so, I'm just well, it's still, wherever it ends is going to end somewhere that leads to the Hunger Game main trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah, right. In some way, in whatever way. The end of the prequels is going to be Snow becomes the young president or something.
Right.
Who knows? Whatever. Yeah. See, now there's been in something that we wanted to talk about, because there's been a few sequels just came out to movies that have been doing not great.
Yep.
So Men in Black.
Real quick. Last thing I want to say about the Hunger Games.
Right.
What I think would be really cool if they did, and I don't think that they're doing this, but would be really cool, is if they came out with the book and then came out with a movie that wasn't the same story as the book, but tied, and they both informed each other.
A transmedia story.
Yeah, they're not going to do that because
No, because they want money.
because they already have a cash cow. So why ruin
right.
it?
All right.
Don't
Milk
fix
that
what ain't
thing.
broke.
Okay.
Yep,
Well, yeah. So, but I wanted to say, like, sequels have a lot more freedom,
for sure.
but there's some sequels that are just shouldn't have been made.
Lots, most sequels should
Yes,
have been
most
made.
sequels. So this week, Men in Black International came out. We haven't seen it, right? You
Number
didn't
one in the box office, though.
Number one in the box office, but it's still underperforming.
Way underperforming. I think I saw like 26 million
Like, that's really bad
for an opening weekend.
It's supposed to be a blockbuster, right?
It broke 30 million.
Yeah, so that's rough. Dark Phoenix has been doing horrible for a X-Men movie, like absolutely garbage. And they both got really bad reviews too.
Dark Phoenix in its second weekend pulled in $9 million.
Oof. Oh.
And to put that in perspective, its first weekend it actually did 32 million. So that's a 71% drop off. Most movies will have about like a 50% drop off after the first weekend.
Yeah.
So 71% is huge.
Yeah. That's rough. Yeah, because Endgame did almost 50% week over week.
Yeah.
And is still 45 million shy from Avatar.
Yep.
It got close. Who knows? It could technically it could still pass it, but whatever.
I want them to like re-release it in like 3D just to get there.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna
release it with
actually, that would be funny.
Re-release it with like 5 minutes of extra footage.
Yes, right. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. And the big draw would be like, we have a special IMAX exclusive 15 minutes of Spider-Man beforehand, or something. It's just some weird thing. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, there's some prequels and sequels. You talked about Star Wars. I have to say, we started watching those now with the girls. So the last, we talked about it on the podcast. I think it's really funny to try to capture what the girls are experiencing when they watch Star Wars.
Right.
And we're doing it in release order on purpose because I'm like, that's how I watched it. Let's just see what they,
that's the only way.
Yeah.
That's the way.
And so it's fun to see them react. And honestly, I haven't even watched the prequels since we got them on Blu-ray. I might have watched them once.
I own them on Blu-ray and I've never watched them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's one of those things where they had a lot of issues, again, kind of wrote themselves into a box. But then on top of that, those were prequels where George Lucas went too far, explaining too much, trying to scientifically like over-explain stuff about the Force, which could have been left as a mystery and would have been fine. But again, prequels get written into this box. And so something that when I started saying maybe we should talk about this tonight is I found out there's actually a Grease sequel.
Oh, you didn't know there was a Grease too?
Hold on. A sequel prequel.
Oh.
There is a Grease prequel, Summer Loving, in development at Paramount.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. What? Why?
Well, I mean, you could say that about literally any Grease movie.
You mean Beyond Grease? Is that what
even Grease itself?
But why? Why now? Why now? And it's been like 40 years since Grease came out in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, why? What's the...
I mean, at least, like, I don't know. I'd rather them do that than, like, come out with a fourth Spider-Man reboot. Like...
Another reboot?
At least enough time has passed.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, no.
No, I don't get it. Other prequels in the past of note, though, like Dumb and Dumber, did real bad. Remember Dumb and Dumberer?
Yeah, no, I don't like any of those movies.
It was the prequel to
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber, and it was horrible.
Yep.
Let's see. The Flintstones did a prequel. Do you remember that?
No.
It was when the Flintstones met in Rock Vegas, when they got married or something.
Wait, the Flintstones movie had a prequel?
Yeah, the Flintstones movie had a Flintstones movie prequel in 2000.
Stop it.
And Kristen Stewart was in it.
Stop it.
Is this true?
I do not believe you.
This is a true story.
Because here's the thing. I was a kid when that movie came out, and I
The
remember really
Flintstones,
liking it.
when it came out in
With John Goodman?
yeah, with John Goodman, exactly. In
So good.
1994, I think. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Yeah, no, there was a
Flintstones and Viva
we
Rock
did another
Vegas.
one. It was awful. I'm honestly trying to think of sequels that worked. There's some movies that were titled a 2 that were actually prequels. So like The Godfather Part 2 was a
Right.
prequel.
Right.
Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, that's the second one. It was a prequel. Actually,
Oh, okay.
a lot of people don't know that because
Well, because it doesn't
doesn't
affect
matter.
the plot. Yeah, it doesn't affect
Right.
the plot at all.
Right. Because those are kind of serialized anyways.
Yeah.
Like they're self-contained.
I mean, in terms of movies, when we talk about prequels, especially ones that didn't work, The Hobbit has got to be pretty high on that list.
Right. Like, but why? But like, why did they have to split it into multiple movies?
Yeah, I mean, people have asked that. You
Yeah.
made the right decision taking 3 books and making 3 movies. Why would you take 1 book and make 3 movies?
Yeah. And I get that it's a big book. Okay, I get it. But they literally had to add stuff. I mean, they had to like
Yeah.
forcefully add things from side commentaries and like
Yeah.
one of the worst prequels in recent history was X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah.
which I honestly at the time thought it was fine, but yeah, it just they did stuff that wasn't even in the comics. They just made stuff up for the movie.
My thing is 95% of sequels or prequels are solely to cash in on the success of the first film.
Right.
And if that's the reason why you're doing it,
Well,
that's the wrong reason.
so I think the biggest cash grab coming up this year is got to be the Rambo movie. There's another Rambo. It's
yeah.
100%. Rambo Last Blood, because the first one was
It's First
Blood.
Blood.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
But if they want to come out with another one, they can always do Last Blood Part 2.
Yeah, like what are they gonna do? Why? Does Rambo die in this one? I don't know.
We can only hope.
Does that many people care about Rambo? I mean, really? I don't know. Next year, Top Gun gets a sequel. It's a full-on sequel to the original Top Gun.
Again, at least enough time has passed.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a long time. They're all aged. It's like all the people from the original that didn't die. And spoiler.
Whoa.
And Val Kilmer is going to be in it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest one I don't get is got to be the Ghostbusters one. So next year is a Ghostbusters sequel.
Right.
It's like an actual sequel to the first 2 Ghostbusters movies. So the one with the lady Ghostbusters
No longer canon. Ghostbusters.
is like, well, it never was. Like some of the original Ghostbusters had cameos as like totally different people.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But
that's the definition of phoning it in.
Yeah, I don't. But why more Ghostbusters? And they basically got like some of the cast from Stranger Things to be in that. Like,
I mean, we're also not talking about the biggest summer sequel flop, The Secret Life of Pets 2.
oh, wait a minute. Is that a flop? I don't think that's a flop.
No, it's actually not a flop, but it currently sits at 92 million. So,
Which it might not make it into the summer movie wager list at 92 million. We'll see.
I mean, well, it'll be on the bubble.
Yeah, so that's the thing with the summer movie wager. There are a lot of sequels this summer.
There are.
That Dragons one is already out on video. How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh yeah.
More dragons. How to Train More Dragons 3. There's more dragons. Keep them safe. Keep them secret. That's the title of that one. I just saw what tweeted out today that Daniel Craig is working out because they're for real doing Bond 25 for real with Daniel Craig again as.
All right, we'll end on this one. I'm ready for a new James Bond.
Yeah,
and I'm ready for a new take on what it is to make a James Bond movie.
Yes.
Casino Royale is the best James Bond movie I've ever seen because they actually cared to make it different. And it's perfect in almost every way. And then they decided, oh, this works. Let's just cash in on this. And then they've made like 4 more. Skyfall's a close second. I do like Skyfall, mostly because Adele wrote the title track.
Mostly because of that title track, though.
But,
come on.
Yeah, I want them to. I like Daniel Craig as James Bond.
Yeah,
but I feel like as long as he's James Bond, they're just going to kind of keep doing this thing that they've been doing for the last like 3 movies, and I'm ready for it to not be that way.
Of the Bond.
Yep. Well, people, you can connect with us and let us know what your least favorite sequel is, or your favorite,
most favorite.
If you're a glass half full type of person, you can connect with us on Facebook, facebook.com/incrediblecritics. I think you can do that, or Twitter at 3criticspod. Sorry, Tuna. We have an Instagram, I think.
Do you not have a clip of Tuna saying the Instagram?
Yeah, right.
We gotta clip that.
We do have to clip that. Oh, until next week, we are the Incredible Critics. I just cut it since it's been doing that weird.
I figured. I figured you were just not playing the music.
Yep.
Nailed it.
The
music worked great just then.
Worked perfectly.
Just now.
It was like so perfect.
Like I don't think you could have, played it any perfect or